Parliament on Thursday had the second reading of the Tenure of Office of the Prime Minister Amendment Bill 2019, which seeks to establish the limits for the holder of the Prime Minister. The debate saw the government side proffering a case for term limits, while the opposition argued that the amendment is not possible unless government had its support. Mover of the bill, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris, said that such legislative reform would promote succession planning that will allow the next generation to take the mantle of leading St. Kitts and Nevis forward.
The first real attempt to bring constitutional change since the Independence Constitution Order of 1983. Many before us have talked about constitutional reform, and they did nothing, not even when they had a sufficiency of representatives to effect constitutional change. Today, Team Unity makes history in being the first to actually propose real and substantive change to the Constitution of 1983. This is an historic bill because today the smallest country, indeed the smallest nation state in the Americas, is leading on fundamental matters of governance, the tenure of office of the head of government.
Prior to the debate, the opposition in a press release argued that it would not support the bill because it was an attempt by the government to prevent opposition leader Dr. Denzil Douglas from becoming Prime Minister again, since he has already served 4 terms as Prime Minister. However, Attorney General Vincent Byron, during Thursday's parliamentary debate, said this would not be the case. Meanwhile, opposition MP Conris Maynard argued that making an amendment to the Constitution to allow for term limits for Prime Minister requires support of 2/3 of the elected members of Parliament, which means government would need the opposition's support. However, Member of Parliament for Nevis 9, Premier Mark Brantley, countered those arguments by accusing the opposition of not supporting the bill and not wanting good governance. Member of Parliament for Nevis 11, Patrice Nisbet, on Friday, as the debate continued, supported Mr. Maynard in that the public and the opposition should be consulted on term limits.
Were there proper ventilation of the ramifications of this idea or concept of term limits? Was it truly properly ventilated to the people? Were the people told what are the ramifications, financial and otherwise, with regards to term limits? If the section demands a certain level of cross-party dialogue, well then some sort of process would have been put in place for that cross-party dialogue to occur.
The bill, which had its first reading on February 21st, 2018, seeks to amend Section 52, which is concerned with the appointment of ministers. The Constitution of St. Christopher and Nevis Tenure of Office Prime Minister Amendment Bill 2019 represents the first real attempt to bring constitutional change since the Independence Constitutional Order of 1983. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.